Hey guys, this is a tutorial on how to implement client-server software in Python using the sockets library. This is not beginner friendly. If you don't have basic programming, well, basic Python programming fundamentals down, I would go learn those. Come back here, you're going to get a lot more out of the video than if you don't know it. Yeah. Anyhow, client server software is a way. Well, actually, hold on, nobody really cares. Everybody just wants to see the code. Okay, let's go. Import socket. Let's do my fun socket equals socket dot socket socket dot af init socket dot sock stream. Okay. Socket.afinet is specifying, hey, we're going to be using the IPv4 protocol. If you're weird and you want to use IPv6, that's how you would specify that, but nobody wants to do that. Don't be weird. Socket.sockstream says, hey, we're going to use the TCP protocol. UDP and TCP are going to be your two main protocols that you'll be using for this type of stuff when you're working with client server software. TCP, in my opinion, is well, I always use it because it tries to get the data to its location um, multiple times if it fails the first time. Whereas UDP does not do that. UDP just like sends out all these bytes and it's like, oh, I hope it gets there. See ya. But anyhow, whatever. You can specify other parameters if you want to do your own research on it. Feel free. Okay, let's continue. Oops. Let's. What am I printing? I'm not printing anything. Let's do my host name equals socket dot get host name. Awesome. Okay, so this call right here will get your server or computer name. So let's, for demonstration purposes, print my host name. Awesome. All right. Let's go say hi to our server. Well, oh, Python server one.py. Okay, so I'm Lenovo laptop. That's the name of my so-called server. Anyhow, let's continue. Let's go to the next few lines. My IP address equals socket dot get host by name, and we'll pass in my host name. Yes, for you Python wizards, I know that you could have put this in here, whatever, but for demonstration purposes, we're going to do it this way. So get host by name will get the IP address of your computer or your server. So let's print our IP address. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so I'm at 192.168.1.179. This should look familiar. This is a common local host address, along with 127.0.0.1. So yeah, let's continue. Let's see. Let's set a listening port to 9,000. You can do pretty much whatever. There's 65,535 ports on a computer, whatever. I like to do between 7,000 and 10,000. I don't know. It's just personal preference. Those ones usually aren't used. Aside from port 8080 and port 9050 and 9051. Stay away from those ones. 9050, 9051 are default Tor socks ports. So if you're on Linux, you're running Tor, you're not going to want to use those ports. And 8080 is often used by web servers, web proxies. So just stay away from those ones. All right, let's continue. Let's do sock arguments equals, what are we doing here? IP address and listening port. So this is a tuple. Oops. This is a tuple in Python. It's a data type. If you don't know what it is, just look it up. You'll be able to figure it out. So we're going to put these arguments in a bind call. So my fun socket, socket dot bind. So we'll put the tuple in there. And this is going to say, hey, computer, we're going to be using this IP address. We're going to be, using port 9000. So let's get these things ready to go. And yes, you could have just put this into here, but these are the arguments that we're going to put in here. So you can do it either way. Yes, this can be done in one line, but let's see. My fun socket dot listen. Let's do one. Okay, so this line right here tells the computer like, hey, we're going to be listening for just one connection. So one client is going to try and connect to our server. For bigger servers, like example websites, you'll want to make this number bigger, like something like, I don't know, 1,000, whatever. As many connections as you're expecting to your server. So this will vary based off of type of project you're doing, but for us, we just need one for demonstration purposes. Chat rooms, you're going to need, if you're going to program your own chat room, you're going to need multiple, obviously, a lot more than one connection. That'd be a real sad chat room. All right, let's continue. And you know what? Let's just do print listening on yes. And port number listening. Great. So at this point, this is a good peace of mind. Like, hey, okay, the socket's successfully listening for connections. So let's save that, and we'll give it a little test, of course. Okay, cool. So we're listening. We're great. So far, everything's working fine. Let's continue on. Let's do which I need sending socket and let's do client address equals my fun socket dot accept. Okay, what does this dot accept call do? Well, it does exactly what it sounds like. It allows the port number to accept incoming connections. It returns this right here is a tuple, and then this is a tuple inside of a tuple. So the first value of the tuple, it creates a new socket object that allows us to send data back to the client if we so choose to. The second part of the tuple is another tuple, and what that's going to be is the IP address of your client and the port number that your client is using. So if your client's sitting in, I don't know, Europe, whatever, it's going to be like, well, whatever IP address in Europe, and let's say it's using port, I don't know, 6500. It should be whatever the Europe IP address is, comma 6500. And you know what? Let's print so we know what happened. Connection established from IP address. Let's do client address. Okay, cool. So we'll know when the connection happened. I guess we'll know that it's successfully connected, or else you're not going to be able to tell if you don't print something out. Okay, let's finish this up. Let's do my fun socket dot close, we'll print, wow, that was so much fun. I love making computers. Boy, I cannot type. Talk to each other. Yippee. All right. Okay, so this close call, there's a whole like low level thing that happens with this call. Basically, all it's saying is like it's like similar to file.close. It's like, let's not be rude to the operating system. Let's see, like, hey, thanks for letting us mooch your resources, and we're all done. So here, have your resources back. We're good. And there's just other like cleanup regions. It's basically just a cleanup. That's all you gotta know. So let's go to the client. Let's import socket. Let's do this one's not as fun because it's not ours, it's the client. So it's just my socket instead of my fun socket equals socket dot socket. If you're feeling like on the edge, pause the video here, try and fill in the parameters for here, but if not, then here. Let's do socket dot init socket dot suck stream. Okay. And then we're going to also do, let's see, dot connect. This takes a tuple, so we're going to do this programmatically the correct way. So if we're going to connect to, what would our IP address say? I forgot. It was, okay. So we're going to connect to this IP address. And make sure this is a string. So your IP address is going to be a string, and then your port number is going to be an integer. So make sure those values are, because sometimes I'll forget and I'll make this an integer value, which is really dumb because there's periods in there, but whatever. So this is going to take a tuple because our server is going to be listening on port 9000, and it's got this IP address. We're going to connect to it. It's going to be sitting there listening, whatever. And then that's it. We're going to do my socket dot close. And then that's going to be it for the client software. So let's go over here. Maybe I'll pull up another tab. Programming videos. Client server. Whoops. Okay, cool. All right, let's get these side by side. Awesome. Okay, so let's run the server. So typically you're not going to like run the server, I guess. You're just going to have the server up and running. It's just going to be sitting there waiting like this. So it's going to be listening on a certain port or even multiple ports for bigger servers. And it's just going to be waiting for connections. And when we execute, let's see, our client, when I hit enter, this is going to send a connection. The right side of the screen is going to send a connection to the left side of the screen. And we should get a success message on our left side. And we do. Connection was established from IP address 192.168.1.179, which is the same IP address because it's just on my same computer. If it was in Europe, it would say something different. And then it said port 30327. That is the port that the client decided it was going to use to talk to our server. And then it says, wow, that was so much fun. I love making computers talk to each other. Yippee, whatever. So much fun. So next video we'll go a little more into detail on some cool things we can do, and we can make the computers actually talk to each other instead of just connect. So yeah, hope this is useful. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Whatever, blah blah blah, and yeah.